All right. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. All right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right, all right. We're gonna keep working today on Miss Toffee's customization. She's gonna be for a friend of mine. So they requested a pink outfit similar to this one. So we're starting with the back and we're giving her her pearl necklace and then starting a bit of an ombre-ish pattern on her back. And then I'm kind of freestyling it right now, her back, with the stones that I have, just based on like the limited number of stones that I have in some of the colors. But we're just gonna keep going and we're gonna try to finish building out her back, the back of her outfit, and then so that we can then transition to the front. But for now, we're just gonna try to get as much done as we can in this session of working on the back of her outfit and working on the ombre. So, per usual, I already gave her a trim. We trimmed some of her fur. And now we are going to continue the process of laying down glue onto the fur, and at that same time kind of like laying down the fur, making the fur as flat as possible so that we have some surface area for our stones to capture on once we start laying down our stones. So that's the plan for today. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you're watching the replay, thanks for watching the replay. Let me know in the comments. I'm debating what the next set that I'm gonna unbox and customize is. So I've unboxed a macaron set. Well, no, the first unboxing I did was a lazy yoga set. Then the second unboxing I did was a macaron set. Then the third unboxing I did was a big into energy set. And then I started customizing with the macaron and the big into energies and keeping some and giving them some of them away. So I really am enjoying customizing Labubus. So I'm just trying to figure out which ones I should get next. So let me know in the comments. Should I get a new, the have a seat ones, they don't really excite me that much, but I don't have them. So if enough people say that I should get the have a seat, then I'll consider getting a set and doing an unboxing. But I really like the macarons. I think those are my favorite. I think it's my favorite set. And then I like the big into energy after that. But whatever people want me to unbox next, that'll be what we do next. But for now, let's just start rhinestoning our Labubu. So far, what I've done is, so far we started building out the back of her necklace, and we have these like larger, what I call Barbie pink stones. And then what I have available to work with that we're laying down is these stones here. These, I have a full bag. Everything to this side, I have limited. Pretty much what I have on the table is what I have in these colors. And I love using up stones when I have bags of stones laying around. So it'd be great to use all these up, but it's also making sure that I don't run out, like I don't start a row without having enough. So with all that yapping in mind and out of the way, let's start laying down some glue. And I think what I'm going to do is move on to this, like what I consider like a mermaid Barbie pink. And I think that'll be the next layer that we do. So we're going to start laying down some glue. Start laying down some glue. And so I found this method to be somewhat successful, taking the E6000, with the Precision Jewelry fine tip and just kind of like painting the glue on as thinly as possible to lay down the fur. But then once you want to create surface area to capture on and like proper adhesion, right? Then you want to start laying down a little bit more glue. But for now, we're just kind of laying fur down, getting it somewhat flat on the boo-boo for today's session. I think we're going to come down to like her little butt today. I think that'll be today's session. That's going to be the goal, is to get like maybe like a third of her back done today. I think that's a good goal. But hi, I'm MeMeCherry. If this is the first time that you're hanging out with me, I like to hang and chat and customize Labubus. Feel free to leave a comment in the chat. It might take me a minute to get to you if I'm looking down and concentrating, but I will get around to reading your comments. So feel free to say hi in the chat if you want to. If you would like to say hello, feel free to say hello, darling. We're quite lovely around here. I know, it's a really bad fake accent. Okay. I'm going to lay down one more of these tucked into her little back of her arm, because that was feeling a little bit like a gap there. Okay, great. So we're going to lay down a tiny bit more glue now for adhesion purposes. So now we want to see some of that glue. Now we want to be able to see the glue. This is when I start concentrating a little hard. So if I go quiet, apologies. But again, feel free to say hi in the chat. What day is today? Today's Thursday. It's been a weird morning weather-wise up here in Northern California, but the sun seems to be coming out. It was raining a little bit yesterday. But we're getting that tail end of what they like to call Indian summer. Okay, let's start laying down. Whew! Sorry, that was wild. I was trying to get hair off of my hand. We're gonna start laying down our mermaid Barbie pink, which is what I like to call this color. It's such a pretty color. I need to get another bag of this mixed pink set of rhinestones. It lasted me a long time. I used it on a few different projects, but oh my god, it's so cute. These colors are just everything. I just wish it didn't come in a bag with everything mixed together, although I guess that makes it more cost effective. I'm sure if it came in the containers with all the sizes separated, it would be way more expensive. So we just keep going little by little, one by one, laying our little rhinestones down. Because of the curvature of her body, and she's not, you know, symmetrical, there is a little bit of like a wave kind of pattern to her garment right now. But it's couture, darling. It's one of a kind. So we're just going to go with it. But you do want to just along the way kind of like nudge your little stones in place. Make sure there isn't too much of a gap. I do have smaller ones that we can use to fill in the gaps if we want to. I do that when I do the fully encrusted Labubus. So like this one, I want it to look completely encrusted. Like I want it to look like it grew out of the wall. So there I use like a range of same color stones, but the different sizes, just so that you don't really see any fur peeking through. These, because they're kind of more of like, oh, she has a garment, she has clothing, then I don't mind so much that she has fur peeking through, because it's kind of like, you know, think like a chainmail dress vibe is kind of like the energy. So that's how I like to think about it. That's my artistic process. That's my process. I gotta make sure I don't forget to put the cap back on the glue, especially on a new tube, because it'll just ooze, and we don't want to lose our glue. We want to make sure that we use it because it's very expensive. Shout out to tariffs. Shout out Miss Tariffs. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the stage. Import, export tariffs from the House of Tariffs. Oh my God. Can you imagine? Somebody should do that. Somebody should call their drag house the House of Tariffs. Oop, almost grabbed the wrong color. Anywho, feel free to say hi in the chat. Let me know how you're doing. How's your week coming along? It's almost weekend. What's going on this weekend? Ooh, in the Bay Area, it's Folsom weekend. I know there's going to be people out there being all kinds of naughty. So if that's your thing, have fun, stay hydrated. I got invited to work an event, but I'm going to skip it. It's too many people. And I just can't do that many people anymore. I mean, I can if it's Oak Lash, because I love Oak Lash. But that's different. Like, Oak Lash is like my baby. Plus, I stay in the volunteer area. I'm actually not really in the festival. I'm on the side, in the little decompression area, which is probably why it's the only like big festival I can actually be at for hours and hours and hours. So that's our progress so far. So let's see, how many stones is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. And I have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 33. That's cutting it close. And her belly has more circumference than her back. So we're gonna save those for her front. And we are gonna move on to our shade of pink that we have the most stones in, and it's easier to go get more because I can get it at Michael's. So let's do that. Let's move on to our next shade of pink. We're gonna move on to our next shade of pink. Move on to our next shade of pink. So yeah, the process is, for this style of Labubu customization, is I usually pick the color palette, then we start with the back. We kind of build out the back of her little garment, of her garment. Then we bring it to the front, and then depending on what style of front it is, whether it's a V-neck or a pearl necklace, full high neck, we connect the back pattern to the front pattern as much as we can. And then she gets face bling, she gets eyelashes and a little bow, and then her little ears get blinged out, and she'll get some earrings and her little bow. And that'll be the custom Labubu. All right, let's start putting this next shade of pink on our sweet little Labubu. Sweet little Labubu. So we just go one by one. And right now, while we still have a lot of surface to cover, I like to just work one row at a time. Once we get closer to the bottom, then you can start doing 2 at a time, because by then you've built out a pattern. But right now we're still building out the wave of our little stones on her little body. But body is tea, mama. Body is tea. She's getting ready to do her first night out in drags. She's having a great old time at the club. All right. This is when I start to concentrate a little too hard and I go quiet. So feel free to say hi in the chat if you want to say hi. Let's see. Today's Thursday. Completely forgot I was supposed to see my trainer this morning. That was my bad. I thought I was supposed to see her tomorrow. So I worked out by myself. Did a cute little upper body workout. And then I logged on to work. I got my work done. Now I'm taking a little break, a little Labubu break before I go back to work. Ooh, I made some cake last night. I need to add some vanilla drizzle to it and some freeze-dried strawberries and some pistachios. So I need to do that today and give it away because I like to give it away. I like to bake and then give most of it away because I work too hard in the gym to eat it all. But you gotta have a little bit. You gotta have a little bit. You got to have a tiny bit of your own cake, right? One must have a tiny bit of their own cake. One must. Okay, let's get some more glue down on our boo-boo. Keep laying down her fur as we go in sections and laying out enough glue for our stones to adhere to, but not so much it becomes a giant mess. But this is very soothing. It's very satisfying. Just laying down their fur little by little in sections. It's like using hair gel and then putting rhinestones in your hair. Which I guess, why yes. Why yes. Why yes. All right. Little by little. Or poco a poco, as they like to say back home in Puerto Rico. Poco a poco, mira, nena, poco a poco. Poco a poco. Con calma, nena, con calma. Okay. Oh, also, if this is the first time that you're hanging out with me, I have a podcast. It's called Series of Fortunate Events. You can find it on this channel as Sophie, S-O-F-E, Series of Fortunate Events. So if you like podcasts, feel free to go check them out. I'm working on a little bit of I'm going to be searching for a new co-host. So that's another thing to be on the lookout for. Or if you or somebody you know has ever wanted to be a part of a podcast, this is a perfect chance to give it a shot, give it a try before you commit to it. So I'll be running auditions for MeMeCherry's next co-host. So if that's something that interests you, feel free to shoot me a DM. I'm on Instagram, MeMeCherry IG, MeMeCherry IG. Feel free to drop me a message if you would like to audition to be a part-time rotating co-host. My podcast for the last few years has been very guest-based, interviews and games and things like that. But I want to focus a little bit more now on pop culture and just more day-to-day stuff, less leaning on guests. And so I would love to, and I could do it by myself, just like how I'm doing this. But I think podcasts are better when they sound like a conversation. Like, I feel like a podcast should be like well, I guess it depends. There's some podcasts that are like very informational. So like Dan Carlin's Hardcore History, right? Like he's telling you about history. So that one like makes sense that like he's by himself. But I don't know, like Chatty Cathy, like yappy kind of like podcast vibe. I don't know. It should feel like you're like a fly on the wall listening to like friends have a conversation or like two people have a conversation. And so I really want to have somebody I can bounce off of. And so that's why we're going to be on the search, on the hunt for MeMeCherry's next co-host. So if that's something that interests you, shoot me a note. Also, if you like live shows, I hosted a live show last month at SF Oasis, and that footage is all. So feel free to check that out. I hosted the first reverse roast. If you've ever heard of a comedy roast, ma'am, excuse you. If you've ever heard of a comedy roast, which I'm sure a lot of you have, I'm sure you understand the concept. They're pretty mean. They're kind of brutal. Sometimes they're racist and misogynistic and just inappropriate and just wild and mean for no reason. And I mean, it's great. There's room for that, right? Like there's a space and a place, and I'm not here to yuck your yum. If that's your yum, good for you. But me, I like to be positive. Even when I'm being funny and cunty, I still like to wrap it, you wrap your salt with a little bit of sugar. And so I started playing around with this concept of a reverse roast, aka a bake, where we kill each other with kindness. And I booked some amazing performers who took my idea and just ran with it. And as each performer came on stage, the concept just kept getting better and better and just more proof of concept. And it just made me so, so happy. And so many people at the end of the night came up to me and said that either as a performer, they loved the concept and they wanted to see more shows like that, or as audience members, they loved the concept and they wanted to see more stuff like that, because the world is dark enough as it is, child. And sometimes you need a lot of positivity in your life, and it can be funny. We don't have to be mean to be funny. You can be nice and be funny. I mean, and again, so, some of these people are still cunty because we're still drag queens, but it was fun. So if that's something that sounds like a fun idea to you, feel free to check it out. It's on this channel, MeMeCherry's Big Bake, aka the first reverse roast. And if that's something that you really, really like, let me know, because I'm considering keeping that as part of the theme for the next Sophie Pod Live in 2027, which I'm already ideating, I'm already casting. I'm already so excited. The only thing is just from now to then figuring out a venue, because now this would be my third live show and it would be at a different venue for the third time, because my first live show was at Fluid 510 in Oakland. My second live show was at San Francisco Oasis, which unfortunately at the end of this year will be closing down. So from now to then, part of the search is just where we would host Sophie Pod Live 2027. But I already have some amazing ideas of the show. I already have told the people that I want to book, please. They're amazingly talented people that like literally at the January 1st, like almost their entire year is already booked. So that's why now in 2025, I'm like, hey, please pencil me in for 2027. Not even next year, year after next, because these people are just so amazingly talented, which makes me so excited to produce this show. So yeah, so we'll bring back the reverse roast idea with a new cast, and we'll do obviously some live podcasting and some performing and some fun things on stage. And yeah, I'm already excited about it. But yeah, so feel free to check that out. It's on this channel, MeMeCherry's Big Bake. It was epic. It was iconic. I still can't believe I pulled it off. And yeah, so if you like that kind of stuff, feel free to hit subscribe. I'm a pretty kooky performer, creative, but I do enjoy being positive more than anything at the end of the day. Again, even when I'm a little cunty, I'm still gonna give you a kiss and a hug and a slice of cake with my, you know, constructive advice. Unless you abuse my kindness for weakness, and then I have to cut you off. But some of you already know who you are. But that's just life, right? Anyways, I have reached a pausing point for today's rhinestoning session. I'm gonna let what I worked on today dry a little. Oh my God, look at that. It looks so good already. Oh my gosh, I really am part mermaid because I just love things that sparkle. So we are, let's see, if she's gonna be a bodega baddie with an outfit, she's about a third done right now with her customization. So feel free to hit subscribe. Next time when we hang out, we're gonna finish the back of her outfit. We'll bring it down, bring the back of her little jumpsuit down. Then probably the session after that will be connecting the back of her necklace to the front of her necklace, and then starting to bring her little outfit down. Then probably another session after that, we'll finish the rest of her outfit, or come down to her belly. There might be one more session to finish her outfit. Then she's gonna get rhinestones in her ears. She's gonna get lashes. She's gonna get a little bling in her eye. She's gonna get a little bling in her tooth, because all of my custom Labubus have a little bling in the tooth. She's gonna get lashes. So she's gonna get like a similar treatment to her, except hers is like a mini dress. Her outfit is gonna be closer to this one, which is more like a jumpsuit kind of vibe. So yeah, if you want to see the progress of this little bodega baddie Labubu, feel free to hit subscribe. I gotta go back to work because somebody gotta pay the bills, child, and it's not the one that's barking. But thanks for hanging out with me. This is fun. I always like logging on for a little bit and just chatting and getting to connect with people. And so thanks for hanging out with me. I hope I get to see you again Thursday. Make some fun plans for the weekend if you can. If you're in the Bay Area and you're going to be hanging out doing Folsom activities, make sure to stay hydrated. And feel free to say hi if you ever see me out in these streets. All right, bye.